Okay, so the first movie that I want you all to watch for Entertainment Friday is something that my mom never, ever let me watch while we were growing up. Every time this would be on TV, she would change the channel. And the first time when I saw this movie is when I started living independently and I had access to internet and I found it on YouTube. Okay, so the movie's name is MANDI. Mandi is an actual translation of the word marketplace. So any marketplace is Mandi. This movie is from 1983, and I seriously can't imagine how in those times, in those days, these people were so progressive and had such an open mind to make this kind of a movie. And this is an amazing movie, and I'll tell you why. Okay. So first of all, the reasons why you would watch it is just because of the star cast. There is Shabana Azmi, there is Nasruddin Shah, there is Smita Patil. These are like the icons of Indian cinema from the 80s and 90s. And if there's these people in the movie, you've got to watch it. I mean, I have never seen a bad movie of Shabana Azmi. Even if it's a bad movie, she makes it good somehow. So Shabana Azmi is the ultimate seller of this movie. That wasn't enough. It's written by Ghulam Abbas. Ghulam Abbas had actually written a short story called Anandi in Urdu, and this movie is based around that. Okay. So the film is about a brothel, prostitute house that's based around or in Hyderabad. Hyderabad is an actual Indian city to this date, and this is where these different characters come together and the story leads out from there. Okay, so Shabana Azmi is the main actress who runs the brothel. She's the main madam, as you might say. And there are several girls there. There are other colorful characters. There's the policeman. Well, you wouldn't say police guy because he's actually taking money from the brothel. There's a local photographer who's trying to take naked pictures of the girls around there. It's actually, I couldn't picture a brothel movie being hilarious yet so profoundly meaningful. This is the reason why I think in 1984 this movie got an award for the National Film Best Direction for Nitish Roy, and then it was also selected at Indian Panorama at Filmotsav Bombay 1984 and was invited to the Los Angeles Exposition Film X, the Hong Kong International Film Festival 1984, and the London Film Festival 1983. I can definitely tell you those all were well-deserved invitations and awards. So in the brothel, there are these guys who are trying to sell innocent girls. They will do a sham marriage. The girl is from some poor village in India. The girl is thinking that the guy loves her and all this, and the guy brings her to the city and sells her off in the brothel. Okay, and then this is how most of the girls have ended there. I don't know about now, but prostitution in India or sex work has never been a business by choice. Girls are forced into it, and then kind of it's purely human trafficking, and then they're made to give birth to a baby or so, or so that the people who run the brothel, they can emotionally blackmail them and keep them under control. And then, or if they are not pregnant yet, then the people who brought them there, they will emotionally blackmail them that your family will hurt your family, or they say that your family now hates you because you work in a brothel, so they're not going to have you back anyway, so you're forced to work there. Okay, so this is how most of the girls have ended up in this brothel. And this brothel is run by Shabana Azmi, as I mentioned, who's playing the character of Rukmini Bai. Okay, so Rukmini Bai is like herself a bit aged, so she is not sleeping with guys herself, but then she's running the whole business, and she is kind of grooming girls who come there. Now, contrary to what you have seen in most brothel movies, this one has a very, very nice twist to it, that the brothel owner, Shabana Azmi, Rukmini Bai, she's nice to the girls. Like how you see in most other movies is that the woman is cruel and she is hitting women and she is nasty and all that. She is really nice to the girls, and when a new girl would come and she would be crying and weeping, Rukmini Bai would actually go and hug her and start talking about her own story, how she ended up there, and then the rest of them are, sulking with her and they're sad and all this. So these are the things that I think people have never seen before, especially in 1983. I mean, this was something people would have thought, okay, so this is how people actually end up there, and when they do end up, this is how their lives turn out to be. Okay, so this is how the movie basically starts, and some guy is selling girls over there, and there is this guy, Mr. Gupta, who owns the place, and now the city, the municipality or council or whatever, they are trying to get this property from the brothel owner, so that they can build a shopping mall or apartment, something like that in there, and they can kick the girls, the brothel, out of the city. So now there's the beauty of this is there's a feminist woman character who is all for women's rights and all this, and seeing her, you think that she is for women's right and women empowerment and she's trying to make them better, but what she is another product of patriarchy, who's only doing what patriarchy wants women to do. Okay, so there's technically no respect for women if they are sex workers, and the way the whole story plays out, the way even the woman who's playing to be a feminist, how actually anti-feminist she is, you'll find that out. Okay, so in the brothel, there's a special character. This woman is Smita Patil, okay? She is special because Rukmini Bai, the owner of the brothel, she is not letting any man around her. She is only practicing singing all the time, and the other girls are jealous of her as she's been taken care of specially and all this. So she is one special character, and in the beginning you would think that she is special for some reason because of her beauty or whatever, but you find out in the climax why is she special, okay, when she falls in love. So in the beginning of the movie, that's the scene that she is dancing, Smita Patil is dancing, and Rukmini Bai is kind of collecting money and all this, and then you see Nasiruddin Shah as the kind of butler around there, the poor butler. The girls are, he's just running around the girls, serving them and doing things for them. He's like a very weird character that you cannot imagine in a Western society at all. He's the poor guy who's got like no life other than serving the prostitutes who are giving him errands, do this, do that for me, and he's so nice to them. He's always taking care of them and all this. So it's just you've got to see him to understand his character. There are no words that can describe him. You know what his name is? Dungurus. I've never heard that name before. Dungurus. Seriously. Then next morning you see that there is some kind of moron guy who's there to sell off his bride. Well, sham marriage. He does a sham marriage and brings this poor girl. The girl is mute, so she can't talk, and he locks her there in the brothel and he goes away, and then the girls try to kill herself, and then the other girls, some of them hate her, some of them try to beat her up and all this. And then there are some monkeys that get lost in the room and they end up in the special girls room. And then you see this local photographer guy, Om Puri. He's also a special character. He's done so many amazing movies and won so many awards and stuff. And in this movie, you see him young, playing a cheap photographer, trying to take, hidden pictures of naked women in the brothel. Now, imagine that time when there was no iPhone, no smartphone, no phone cameras and stuff. He's using his actual camera to try to take hidden pictures of these girls. He's just hilarious. So this Mr. Gupta is trying to get these prostitutes out of the city on a moral argument that a healthy and moral society is the backbone of the nation, and we need to get rid of the prostitutes and kick them far away and their business and all this. To the woman's face, Rukmini Bai's face, he's all nice because they all collect money from them, so it's actually business. But to the council and to the city people, they are all like, morals and sanskar and all that bullshit. And then this is one of the most interesting scenes in the movie, that these feminist women, moralistic, high society women parade against the prostitutes, and they come to the brothel and they say that they want to talk and they want to negotiate and they want to kick the prostitutes out. Okay. And this woman is some kind of minister or someone in the government, and her name is Shanti Devi, and people are like chanting her name, Shanti Devi ki jai, Shanti Devi ki jai, and all this. Oh yeah, so this Shanti Devi is the kind of what do you say? Okay, so Shanti Devi is a woman who runs a women's organization, and she has had fought some corruption and stuff, and she's right here talking about women empowerment, and she's giving speeches, okay? So she has basically vowed to end prostitution. So basically there are a bunch of buffoons, ass lickers. They are there chanting her name, giving her flowers and stuff, and she is sitting in the middle of everything. And then this scene is so hilarious, where this woman is the Shanti Devi, the moralistic woman. She's giving her speech, and right behind her there's a small window, and from the bars of the window there are two prostitutes hanging out, and they're listening to what she's saying. Okay, so she's saying that, we'll end prostitution, and we'll do this and that. And so one of the prostitutes say, okay, so we stop prostitution, how do we eat then? And this woman, the high society, high moral woman, she says, food is not everything. And then the other prostitute who's hanging out with her, maybe you get free food, that's why you're saying like that. I mean, this is such a hilarious and such a profound scene of the contradiction in the Indian society, where on one hand you see these high society moralistic people talking about morals, talking about big things, this and that, religion and culture and tradition, this and that, and on the other hand you see these poor people who've got no food, who've got no clothes, who've got no life. Okay, and to them, yes, food actually is everything, because at the end of the day, when they go to their beds hungry, and they don't even have a bed, for God's sake, they sleep on the side of the road. What chances do they have of survival? What life do they have? In India, the rate of corruption is so high. What are the chances that a poor person could be someone big? Or forget about big, even turn into a middle class. The person who was poorer is actually getting more poorer. Things are moving backward instead of forward, which is why I really love this scene, and I really love this movie, because in a hilarious way and in a real way, you see this movie and you see that, oh my god, there's such contradiction in this society. Because you know what, you know why this movie was such a revealing thing, or such a liberation for me? Because all my entire life I was grown up with this Shanti Devi's morals and with the Shanti Devi's perspective, because my mom was that. My mom was grown up in a good, well-to-do family. She married a well-to-do guy, When I was born, I was in Saudi Arabia. My dad had a diplomatic job. We were like that. We'd never known what is the life like of a poor person in India. We had every time we would visit India when we were on vacations, we would see poor people outside our car doors begging, the railway stations and airports and stuff like that, and we would never have their perspective. And this I'm talking just about poor people in general. And when it comes to poor women in India who are forced to sell their bodies, whether voluntarily or involuntarily, what do we know about their lives except for hating them, except for our parents teaching them to hate them, to despise them, to look down upon them, to do have nothing to do with them? What else have we ever known about them? Nothing. And this movie was a realistic scene where you get to know these prostitutes, where you get to see what life they are living, and why their life is the way it is, and why they're not progressing in India. Because you see people like Shanti Devi, people like the landlord, and other people who work in the government offices. You see how they play the whole game so that in the end it's the prostitutes who suffer, and they're never going to get out of it, as long as it runs the way it is. And this movie was made in 1983. This we are arriving 2017 now. How long has it been? And I doubt there is any major change in the condition of prostitutes in India. I don't think there is any, because even on this date, when a sex worker and a person or minister or whatever the fuck is caught in inside a hotel room or someone, it's a prostitute who's jailed and the guy is let free. The Johns are let free always. In the business of human trafficking in India, it's always the Johns who's let free, and it's always the woman, the sex worker, who is jailed, despite this being legalized in some parts of the country. Pathetic, I know. So, getting back to the movie, this woman Shanti Devi, she goes inside the brothel and she's trying to talk to Rukmini Bai and try to tell them that you have an underage woman in your custody and we are here to free her and this and that. And she's trying to Shanti Devi is trying to play the nice woman card, and Rukmini Bai is trying to say, oh, be as nice as possible to her, because she has to be nice. She's saying that we are professional artists, we are singers and we are dancers, and we need to do what we need to do to have our life run the way we want. In the meantime, when this discussion is going on, remember the guy who came with Shanti Devi, who's announcing all her big deals and stuff. This guy is caught red-handed with one of the prostitutes. So whatever the Shanti Devi was trying to do, it ends really, really badly for her, and then they have to leave. So these things keep happening, and then in the movie you see one of the other big guns in Mr. Agarwal, I think his name is. He is trying to he's invited many people for the occasion of I don't know if it's marriage or engagement, some kind of a ceremony of his son and daughter-in-law. And in that, this special girl from Rukmini Bai's brothel, she's dancing, and this guy, his son, falls in love. Mr. Agarwal's son falls in love with that special girl. Okay, only to find out in the end, okay, I'm not gonna give any spoilers to you, I'm not gonna tell you who she is and why this is a big deal, but then he falls in love, and then the story moves on. Rukmini Bai tries to stop her from meeting the guy, falling in love. He then comes to see her in the night in the brothel, and he brings a lot of money, and she likes her, this girl, she likes him, but then she fails to understand why this Rukmini Bai is not letting her hang out with that guy, or why she's not letting her fall in love. This thing keeps happening. And then later you see in the movie that the girl who was brought there forcefully, she tries to kill herself. She takes some poison or something, and then Rukmini Bai is in trouble, thinking, okay, now what we gonna do? We might all have to go to jail and stuff like that. Okay. And then later, this guy, Mr. Agarwal, and the people of the council, they push the brothel away out of the town. And they give some money and stuff to Rukmini Bai, and they say that there's no way I can save you, there's no way I can let you stay here, but I'm giving you all this money and I'm helping in whatever way I can. So they move them out of the town. Okay. Now they come to a new place, they're trying to make a life over there, and then they see a Baba over there, Amresh Puri. He's done a very small role, but it's an amazing character that he's played. And he tries to say to this woman, Rukmini Bai, that you will be successful, just pray over here and you'll get what all your heart desires. This happens, and then soon the new brothel is built and people start coming over, and then there's like a small town in there after a few months. And then as the movie progresses, you'll see that one of the girls, Basanti, who's living in the brothel with them, she tries to leave with the local photographer, and they try to elope and run away to Mumbai and make pictures, and she was hoping to get into modeling, so they run away. And then this girl, the special one, she tries to run away. And Shaban Azmi, the main character, Rukmini Bai, the woman who's been running all this brothel, she ends up in the end, and then something else happens. She finds someone else. I'm not gonna reveal the surprise. I'm not gonna give you any spoilers and tell you exactly what happens, but I would hope that you find out on your own. So this was it for today, and I would say that this is my absolute favorite movie. I don't know how many times I've watched it over and over on YouTube, and I never get bored of it. Especially when you see the acting of these people, when you see the way they talk, the dialogues, the way the director and the writers have tried to portray these characters, you will just absolutely fall in love with them. And I don't think that these are the characters that you see over and over everywhere, the bubbly girl character or the over enthusiastic guy, or any character in this movie is not a typical character. Every single character is special.